Welcome to this week's edition of the Local Anxiety Podcast. My name is James Kasha, and this week I talk about my journey into learning empathy. It's a very important subject to me, and it's something that I work on still on a daily basis. I hope you guys enjoy this. Empathy was something that was never on my mind growing up. I don't think it really is on a lot of other people's, and especially when you're young, you're more self-centered and you're more in your own head as to look to the other emotions of others. But it was something that came into the forefront into my 20s. You see, I'd come home from work and I would complain about fellow employees not, carrying their own weight or not doing what I did or what I could do in my own youthful arrogance. I was insecure, so I would boast about like this and that and all that when I was younger, and I just couldn't seem to grasp that concept that other people are going through things that may be hindering their performance or their happiness or so on and so forth. So I had a teacher finally just straight up tell me, you lack empathy. And at the time, I didn't often hear that word used a lot, so I had to really think on that. Like, okay, well, what does she mean by that? What do you mean I don't have empathy? I don't care for others? And at the time, of course, I got defensive. I mean, just like anybody does when you've been told something like that, you just immediately go to, that's not true. But I tell you, those words had to sink into me. I started thinking about it. I kind of started mulling it over in my head. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that was nothing more than the truth. I did lack caring for others. I was young and brash, and that's no excuse. But those words started to change me, because I didn't want to stay in that state of lacking that important tool. So in this episode, I kind of want to go over some stories of my journey, essentially, as to the beginning, the middle, and to kind of where I am now. And there's been a lot of important things that have happened through this in my life to influence me. So right off the bat, I want to talk about a story that happened when I was in my early teens. I had a bully at school that was always picking on me, just not fun. Whenever I saw him, I would just dread it. I'd be like, oh my God, here we go again. This kind of thing, right? He was a bigger kid, heavier set, stronger than me. So it was not just, it was mostly verbal, but it could turn physical. And I was always a timid, just sensitive, scared kid. So this bully would prey on that. And so anyway, there's this one day he came to school with a cast on his arm. He had broken his arm. And in my brain, I went to, there's my revenge. There's his karma. And I'm not a big person who believes in karma or whatever. It was something bad that happened, but my response was even worse. Because I took that opportunity to laugh at him and to mock him. Like, there you go, that's what you get. That kind of thing. So the way I've always had to learn is always the hard way. I want to get better with that, but I'm still pretty pig-headed. So after I laughed at this guy, a few weeks later, I end up breaking my arm. So this thing kind of stuck with me forever. I would look back on that and be like, that was a gift. I realize that now, as I'm older, is that me breaking my arm was a gift. It taught me in that moment. It's like, oh, you took that opportunity to take the low road. You didn't understand the lesson that was right in front of you, that you could have chose a different path. But I take that now as something good. I mean, after we both had broken arms, there was almost like a ceasefire that took place. I remember I came to school had my cast on, my sling, whatever. And we both kind of looked at each other and acknowledged, we're both in this scenario. So I guess in a way we shared a moment with that, you know. So things between us were pretty peaceful for a while. So fast forward into my 20s. After I've received that shocking blow to my ego that I was not an empathetic person, I wanted to change that. So I started to go overboard with it. I'm one of those guys that's just like, once I want to do something and I want to commit to it, I kind of go a little bit too hard in the paint, a little bit too extreme. So I would do my best to put myself in other people's shoes. To the point where I would try and feel the pain another person was feeling. I would get so into it because it tied into my own insecurities, and also that whole loop of, I need everybody to like me kind of thing. So I would dive right in, which means anybody had a problem, I wanted to be there to hear it. I wanted to be there for everything. I wanted to fix them. That was my job, is to fix them. But I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn that empathy can just be as simple as hearing somebody, showing that you care, and letting them share that with you. And maybe say a few words, but try and shut up. That's something I've had to learn, because before it was about like, I need to help you, I need to fix you, because that was my own helplessness that I felt, and my own insecurities of like, what do I do in this situation? I don't understand. I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to help you, and this is the only way, is that if I come in and try and take on your whole entire burden. Little did I know that was also another distraction that I would use to avoid problems in my own life. But that's another story. But as I gotten older, I started to understand is to just shut up, listen, and care. And to be honest, that has been one of the best gifts that I've learned in my life, is to continually try and see things from another point of view. Now, to tread back a little bit, because wasn't an instant process for me. After all the complaining I did when I came back from work, and I was this person does this person doesn't do that, I had to be broken. And in this instance, it was more of a physical that had to take place. In my mid-20s, I was still strong, I was young, I just felt like I had boundless energy. But in my later 20s, I felt my body starting to give way. And now in retrospect, I can look back at that as it was a mix of a lot of things. It was very high anxiety, depression, and also just arrogance. I was putting too much of my self-worth in what I could do physically. And so that was separating myself from being able to empathize with others that couldn't do what I could. So as my body started to break down a bit physically, my ego was put into check, and my self-worth was lower than it's ever been, because for the first time, I could not do what I was able to do before to give myself that false sense of value. So I was able to draw a parallel between me and others for the first time, being like, oh wow, like that person, they're going through a divorce. That person's not going to see his kids for a while, or this person's worrying about bills. All these things started to quantify, and I started to finally understand the other point of view, because I was living it. I was living certain aspects, maybe not the relationship stuff, but more of just the the anxiety coming to work, and the pain and the aches and the worry about everything. And like I said, I'm stubborn. It takes me a while to learn, but over time, when I started to realize that, that's when the true gift started to emerge from it. And empathy in my life has been a humongous gift. And the simple definition for empathy, the ability to share the feelings of another. That is a gift that we can give to others, and it also is a gift for us too. It helps us bond with the people that are around us. Helps make people feel like they're actually cared for and they mean something. And I realized that in the workplace, that is something so powerful that all of us need, is that we need an ally. We need someone that we can come to and just express those feelings to and know that they care. And that makes it a little easier for someone to come to work. Maybe they don't, not everybody loves their job, but at least there's that little bit of like, okay, well, at least if I see that person today, that's an ally that I have, and we can share a moment here and there, or I can express to them when I'm not feeling so well. It's a free therapy session. So I know I'm summing this up as fast as I can, but understand that it's a continual thing. It's something that I still try and exercise to this day with the people I work with and the people I interact with. And I got to tell you, it's helped me tremendously because I am in the customer service industry. Empathy is a key part of that. It's almost like all these tools were being developed in me and I didn't know where they were going. I didn't know what it was going to do or how it was going to benefit me. But it was good because I didn't think of that. I wasn't so cognizant of thinking like, oh, these are just things that are going to make my job easier. Well, no. These are things that I sought out because once I was called to it and I saw it for what it was, I wanted to change that. So what I can offer you, if you're not already going down that path, is to start the journey. It's not going to be easy at first, and there's going to be bumps along the way, but I tell you, there's nothing more rewarding is to stand across from somebody and make eye contact and see the look on their face when they realize that you care and they can feel comfortable sharing with you. That's the gift that we can give to others. And it's a gift that keeps giving to us as well. So anyway, that was this week's brief episode about empathy. And I'm sure I have other stories that I probably missed and skipped over, but those are the ones that really stuck out to me. It'd be cool to hear your stories too. So if you feel inclined, leave a comment or a like on the video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, that's it, folks. Have a good week. That's a wrap, folks, on this week's episode of the Local Anxiety Podcast. Episode 11. Wow. Here we go. The road to 100. Wish me luck. Have a good week.